have a concept to share. I had a teacher who always said, you don't need liberation. It is your mind that needs to be, wants liberation. Because it is in a misunderstanding. Can you please comment on that?
Well, I don't know what the mind is. Show me your mind.
I can't.
No, the mind, I don't think there is such a thing as a mind, but there is an energetic sense of being separate, which brings a longing for wholeness. There might be an interpretation through the brain of that, but for me, there isn't such a thing as the mind. There's a collection of belief systems and an imagined idea about who I am and what enlightenment is like or liberation is like. But for me, the idea that the mind only wants liberation is a very shallow idea. As far as this is concerned, essentially separation is an apparent energy. It's nothing apparently emerging as an energy that seems to be separate. So it's an energy, it's embodied in the heart, it's embodied. It's a cellular thing. It comes and goes, it's very inconstant. Every day it's there and it's not there. But it certainly isn't an idea or a thought or a belief that the mind has.
It seems it just brought confusion to me.
What has?
That the mind needs liberation.
Yeah. It's a very shallow idea as far as I'm concerned. It's really based on the idea that the mind has a thought or an idea about liberation and wants it, but it's far deeper than that. There's a deep, in the tiny child there is no identity, there's just life happening. There's no sense of anyone. Hunger and anger can happen in a tiny child, but there's just life happening. And then suddenly there's an energy that is just free floating, and then suddenly it seems to contract in the body of the tiny child, and there's a sense of being separate from life, which is huge. It's so huge that most people don't even remember it. They don't want to remember that, because it's like a huge, seems to be like a huge exclusion from wholeness. And directly that happens, directly that energy seems to happen, appears to happen, it's only a bit. And that brings about a huge longing to come back home. And that creates this whole thing of, I long to be at home. But it also creates an artificial structure called me, which thinks that it can get home. And that's when the shit hits the fan. because it's a sort of game. It's an awful game where the me, because of the nature of me living in an artificial construct, which is subject object, it simply cannot get home. And that's the sort of irony of this whole thing, the way of explaining it.